What do Gina Davis, Carol Burnett, and Katie Couric have in common? It's not such a secret, but it is a little tantalizing. Stay tuned. When I was in my 20s, men my own age seemed unfocused. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They didn't know what they were doing tomorrow, much less a year from now or 5 years from now. They were just silly. They seemed so silly to me. But the idea of dating men who were 10, 15, even 20 years older held much more appeal. Those men were beginning to be established in careers. Some of them were very established in their careers, and they could talk about things that were interesting with a broader perspective. Their experience in the world, whether they were traveling, whether it was previous dates, previous marriages, previous experiences that they have had with any number of people, informed their view of the world, and it was far broader. They were just so much more interesting. Now that I'm in my 60s, the idea of dating a man who is 15 or 20 years older, not so appealing. But the idea of dating men who are younger, now that's interesting. So what do Gina Davis, Katie Couric, and Carol Burnett have in common? They're all married to men who are their juniors. Did you know that Carol Burnett's husband is 23 years younger than her? You go, Carol. That's great. And for those of you who've been watching the news recently, the newly elected president of France, his wife is 24 years older than him. Now, there's a bit of scandal there. The first time he laid eyes on her, he was a student. She was his teacher. We'll just leave that there. However, many studies have been done on this subject of older women and younger men, and the conclusion seems to be that it's a far better match, and I can see how that is. Older women who are still working, perhaps, being matched with men who are younger and still working. You can see the work piled up behind me here. I'm still very focused on my career, and it would be nice to be with somebody who has a career that they're equally focused on. Health-wise, it's a better match. I mean, men who are in their 70s and 80s are probably starting to have some health concerns that maybe take some of their energy away and slow them down. Now, there's the odd one that that's not the case for, but in general, men who are younger are probably not experiencing those kinds of health challenges yet, so the energy levels are more evenly matched. Sex is better with men who are younger. That's what the study data says. I'm not going to give you my personal experiences. Anyway, men who are younger are better matched sexually with women who are older. That's a fact. The definition of self, women who are older are probably more understanding of the fact that they are enough. They're enough. They can be by themselves. They are probably financially independent. They have a good sense of who they are. They don't need a man to complete them. All of those romantic notions and the tendency for younger women to define themselves through the relationships they have with men, that's gone. That's gone. It's gone. It's history. Women who are older are usually, by hook or by crook, maybe they've had to come to this conclusion on their own, but maybe they just did. They know themselves better, and they're so much more interesting because they don't have to put up with a bunch of nonsense. They hear something they don't like, they say it. They don't have to change their views or feel the need to change their views to suit the man they're with. They have their own views, and they have a good sense of who they are and where they're going. I like that. I like that notion. And I like that notion that a man who is in his 40s, 50s, can lose the idea that a younger woman somehow makes him seem more vital. She has nothing to talk to you about, sir. Nothing. Anyway, a man who is in his 40s or 50s can probably find conversation with an older woman far more interesting. A sense of humor that is better developed. I mean, isn't it true that we all have to laugh? That somebody who makes you laugh is a far more interesting companion in all respects? I think I may have to learn a little bit more about Tinder. Yeah. I really don't like the idea of online dating apps. I would rather my friends introduced me to their friends, or maybe I meet them out and about, at the theater, out for dinner with a group of friends, on committees or boards that I sit on. That'd be nice. Anyway, this idea is very appealing, the idea of dating men who are younger. What do you think? Have you dated men who are younger? What has your experience been? Comment below. I'd like to hear your experiences. I'd like to know whether or not you find the idea of dating men who are younger far more appealing than dating men who are older. Perhaps you're a widow and you've lost your husband, and now you're looking at the next stage of your life. Are you interested in dating younger men? I think we should all go for it. What do you think?